Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Tower. It's been a week. I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Wendy Yee.
What a week. I'm Chris Yee.
It was a week, so it
was a very filling week.
We were working on our studio, getting the sound changed. You might hear a little bit of a difference here in our mics. We're still working on them and trying to make them as good as we can. The new studio is almost done. We have one more thing to add to it. We'll be debuting it in the Winter Spectacular, which is
coming on up.
3 weeks from now?
2 weeks, I believe. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong.
We've got this
It
week.
is 2 weeks.
PAX.
PAX is this week.
Next week is prep.
Holy smokes, PAX is this week.
And then
Got it.
PAX Unplugged this week. So you might have heard of PAX Unplugged. We will be there. We'll have a booth there. Just come by the booth. We have a contest going on that's going to be ending at the end of PAX Unplugged to win a bag of games. You can find that on our website. You can also, let's see, what else am I? Anyway, just come by and see us at PAX. That'd be great. Winter Spectacular in 2 weeks. That's where we'll be talking about our best of the year stuff. But we do have lots of other things coming out this week, which I'll talk about in a bit. We have a contest for you from Forbidden Games. This is for Raccoon Tycoon, which incidentally is the one behind us here. I really like Raccoon Tycoon. Very, very fun game. One thing Raccoon Tycoon does very similar to Mosaic, which came out this year, is you take a quick action on your turn, you're done. It just goes. You take quick action. The only action that will stop the game is there might be an auction. And then you auction off something, and then you keep going. And I love how fast it is. Really fun. This one I don't know the answer for, so I can't spoil it. But to enter this contest, you need to email us at contest@dicetower.com. In the subject line, put the word raccoon, which...
Yeah, no, that is the correct spelling. I was wrong.
Raccoon has 2 C's and 2 O's?
I know,
It does.
It doesn't look right, but it is.
All right.
That looks right to me.
it's like vacuum.
That looks wrong to me, but there you go. Anyway, and then answer the question in the body, which is, what is the fictional land that Raccoon Tycoon takes place in? I have no idea. Victorian animal land.
Is it Raccoonlandia? If we get an email that says Raccoonlandia, you're disqualified. Sorry.
Not the answer.
All right. Well, anyhow, that's a contest. Good luck to everyone, and thanks to Forbidden Games. Well, all right. We were not around, like I said last week, working on a new studio. There was American Thanksgiving, in which we ate no small amount of food. And I'm still eating turkey, and I'm not ashamed of it. And
You did cook 5 or 6.
Just 5. 5 turkeys.
Only 5.
Only 5 turkeys. And 1 ham. We mixed that ham with scrambled eggs the next day, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
I really like the ham.
That was a good ham. I bathed it. I bathed it in maple syrup and some other concoctions. But
Kickstarter
anyhow,
maple
Sounds
syrup.
sweet.
yeah, there was nothing healthy about our Thanksgiving dinner. But anyway, we are back. Lots of things coming out this week. Even though we are going to PAX, you definitely will see lots of videos from us. So let's get started with this one. Here we go.
Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Maple University. Today we have Carcassonne, but it's not just an expansion for Carcassonne. This is a standalone cooperative game of Carcassonne. It is Mists over Carcassonne.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept, right? Carcassonne's 21 years old now. And how do you teach an old dog new tricks without just adding new expansions? Turn it into a co-op.
It has different levels of difficulties, starting from the easier one, and mainly you're adding ghosts that can interact with the map, interact with the player, make sure you don't run out of ghosts, otherwise you lose as a team, and you have to reach certain points by doing what you do at Carcassonne.
Yeah, it had a really nice feel with sort of the overwhelmingness of the ghosts. You had to keep scoring little points, because each time you scored a bunch of little points, you could sweep some ghosts off, or you could close off the ghosts.
Yes, and it is also an expansion for the base game, which the ghosts you can just assign it to people, and then you can scare other meeples away by putting, I think, 3 ghosts or so. Yeah. It's really fun.
I think even the rulebook doesn't recommend that as a first thing, though. It's really meant to be played as this
on its
cooperative
own,
mode.
And try at your own risk, says the rulebooks, if you want to use the other expansion, all the expansions of Carcassonne, which we probably wouldn't recommend. We have played once.
It's a lot of rules.
It's
a lot of rules to remember.
Once we played Carcassonne with all the expansions, and that took
And 8 players.
Yes.
Lots of downtime.
Do not recommend that. But we
do
recommend
recommend
this. We recommend this, Miss of Carcassonne. So check it out. It's a great family game. It's a great game if you like 2 players. It's a great game if you like Carcassonne. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
I'm Hermes. I have the greatest power. I'm the god of speed. You've no chance in this race.
I'll win the race. I got Poseidon on my side. I can rain on my enemies.
We'll see.
I'll catch up with him. Poseidon, rain! What? Oh, come on, rain on him! On him! It was implied! Oh, come on! Olympus Races, it's a quick fun game for 2 to 8 players. It's a race game. The first player to reach to the end of the special board that is composed by different pieces wins the game. On your turn, you play 2 actions. The first one, optional, you can play a special card, either a temple card with your gods' unique abilities. Players are gods, ancient gods from ancient Greece, or pantheon cards, which will be acquired throughout the game with special effects for you. They're good to damage your opponents and so on. And then they must, second action, play a movement card, a bestiary card, to move an X amount of spaces toward the final destination. And then you draw back to your maximum hand side. Quick, fun, simple. Crazy car, how do you win Olympus Races?
Winning's a combination of hand management and also knowing when to play the special cards that you have. You do a personal map. That's when you want to basically put the screws to your opponent.
Yeah.
And
each
when
player has his own territory on the board. When it's your
public
territory, that's when you are safe and other players better be scared. But when you are in their territory, that's where you want to be.
You want to get out of there.
Thank you, Crazy Car. Woohoo! Check it out, Olympus Races.
I'm Hermes. I've got the best. Nah.
Now, Chris said as we go down these games from 20 years ago that we're getting to the trash ones. But Mogul is the game we're talking about today. I actually really like.
Oh, I know
Yeah?
nothing about it. We were mic checking, and I was vamping.
I didn't-
Mogul is trash. This is the stupidest game I've ever heard of.
I know nothing about Mogul. I didn't expect a train to be on it. I
Well-
thought it was going to be some rich guy with lots of money.
Oh, it's this one.
Yeah, well, this game was actually remade in 2015.
Oh, let's take it to ride.
It's not. It's from Michael Schacht, who's a very good designer in his
Oh, it's
own realm.
Wingspan. Got it.
And it was there was 3 games that all came out at the same time, and you could put all 3 together, the boxes, and it made one picture. So Mogul is the train coming from that side. Then the one in the middle had a train in the middle, so you could see kind of they just
There
fit
were 3
together.
trains
Train from the
coming
left,
crashing
train from the
together?
right, and
Yeah,
then
the other
just a
2
dude
games,
standing in the middle.
unfortunately,
Oh, a dude
actually,
standing in the middle.
I can show you the
Getting hit
picture.
by a train.
It's Crazy Race, Station Manager, and Mogul.
Oh.
Unfortunately, Crazy Race and Station Manager aren't as good. That was my suspender.
Oh.
It popped off the end there. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I thought something fell off of
Mogul.
Yeah.
Mogul is an auction game in which you are. It is very similar to No Thanks. You bid on shares by throwing a coin in, and at some point you say, I can't win anymore, and then you take the coins off. And then you're out of the auction, and the last person who's in wins the card. And the second last person also wins something too. So the final 2 people in. And then as these cards are flipped up from the deck, they will pay dividends and shares based on how many that people have, or they'll let you sell them, and you can sell them for whatever their current price is, based on how many. It's a good game. It was made much better. The 2015 version added a board. That's what's shown in the picture below. That's a 2015. There was no board. And so, no, that's fine. We meant to do that.
So the new version is more boring?
No.
Board.
No.
Border.
Anyway, so Mogul, for Michael Schacht, I gave it a 7.5, and then I gave the new version an 8. I really like it. I have found it does not work in all situations. And in fact, someone in our game group, and you can do some prize elimination, almost ruined the last time we played this. I believe Camilla was in that game too.
Oh, fantastic.
But it wasn't her. But the game, someone almost trashed the game, and I was like, oh, this game has some slight fragility to it, but only just don't play with this person anymore.
Anything's fragile when someone comes to you with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, this is a really neat little game. It is in the Dice Tower library. I like it a lot. So that's a game from 20 years ago.
I want some Mo. Go.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Today we are looking at big money.
Big.
Big money. This is a 2 to 5 player game from Ravensburger. It is dice rolling set collection, and we're going to get rich, boy.
Yeah, zillions of dollars. So yeah, this is a very simple sort of Yahtzee style game. So you get 6 dice that you roll, 5 of which are your numbers 1 to 5, 1 to 6, and then a separate dice which is an industry dice. It rolls certain industry types. And the way that the game works, basically, you have a board which has got some industries for sale, and you start with a couple of industries yourself, and they're basically things like you might own a movie studio or
They're great graphics on there,
a restaurant or a
football team.
Yeah, that kind of thing. You roll Yahtzee style rolls, so you're collecting kind of poker type hands, and then you get a payout in zillions of dollars, depending on what you roll. If you roll a straight and so on, or if you roll 5 of a kind,
full
whatever.
house, etc.
So you do that in the Yahtzee style, you get that payout, and then if the other dice, when you roll that, if that comes up as say entertainment, and you've got an entertainment business in your
Or if I have as well.
whoever's got it gets a payout, zillions of dollars. So everybody collects that. You collect your Yahtzee thing, then it goes to the next player, and you can buy from the array more businesses in different styles, so that gives you more chances of winning on that business dice. And then sadly, right in that dice as well, there's a little kind of broken piggy bank, which is industry news.
Stock collapses.
Industry collapses. All sorts of things. If you own a lot, you have to pay back zillions of dollars.
It goes out as fast as it comes in.
Silly fun. It's all random, obviously, apart from your skill set with the Yahtzee
It's funny when you
rolls.
get zillions of dollars.
Crazy silliness for such a sort of very basic game. We really like this one. And it's very cheap too. You can probably buy it on Amazon for $6 or something like that.
Cool. Not so big money then.
Very good. So check it out, and check out the full review on our channel if you fancy it. And we'll see you on the next breakfast.
See you soon, guys.
Bye.
Assalamu alaikum. Ludonate, the publishers of Colt Express, one of my favorite games, have officially released some bonus cards which are going to be called the Scary Objectives. What these let you add is that these are specific special hidden objectives that you get to complete by the end of the game, and if you are able to successfully complete that objective, then you are going to get 1000 additional money, including the loot that you have collected, and that can be really detrimental to the score of your game. If you're interested in these kind of objective, that for example predicting that who will collect the most loot, or you being the second highest loot bag collector, or maybe being the person who punches the person who was holding the strong box and making him drop it. My favorite one would be that I get to shoot each and every player, and if my bullet card is available in each and every player's deck, then I get to complete my shooting objective. But these cards will be hidden and given randomly to each player, so every time you're going to have a different kind of objective that you have to meet. If you're able to meet, then you're going to get that additional 1000 bonus. So if you're interested in those bonus cards that have been officially made available as a print and play, then go to the BGG file section under Colt Express and you will find the file tabs. That's it for me. Happy gaming.
There is a lot of stuff coming from the Dice Tower. So when we're done with this in 46 minutes, Z is going to be playing Squire for Hire on What's Happening. At noon, I'll be doing a Q&A. And at 3, Mike DeLisio joins me and Eric Summer at the table. At a table. At some sort of table.
This table.
No, I don't. Well, we'll see. We haven't figured that out yet.
At that table.
At a table.
Tomorrow we do the semifinals of the Disney Sorcerer's Arena Championship round. I'm going to finally review ISS Vanguard. There's a plethora of big games. I spent a lot of time playing ISS Vanguard. I am now going through Frosthaven. Played a lot of Frosthaven.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, but that's not Frosthaven review this week. That's coming. Endless.
Just
That'll
play the
take a
app
minute.
version.
ISS Vanguard. We got the people are taking a look at Endless Winter, Fellowship of the Ring. There's the Exit Advent Calendar. That's going to come out on the 30th, giving you one day to buy it so you can start it. Sorry, folks, I couldn't get it played faster than that. The board game Smorgasbord is this week. We're taking a look at Tribes of the Wind, Challengers. That's going to be an interesting review. You'll see different opinions there. I'm doing another Kickstarter look back. Don't Go In There, Shoot the Stars, Cake Bake Challenge, Fall of the Mountain King. That's one of our big reviews. Feed the Kraken. People have been asking us to play that for a while.
Don't short sell a Cake Bake Adventure, whatever the heck you said that was
Cake
called.
Bake Challenge.
That
Cake
sounds
Bake
like an
Challenge.
app.
Yeah, there's a lot of different reviews going up this week.
Feed the bunny.
I'm not sure why. That must be a Brian thing. It is a Brian thing. Okay. So, yeah, Brian's reviewing Twilight Inscription. Yeah, many different reviews going up. We hope you enjoy them. On Thursday, we're not going to be here.
You won't.
Right. So, Board Game Smorgasbord is being moved to Wednesday.
Correct.
Yes. That's why there's no big top 10 list on Thursday. But don't worry, we'll have one next week. Let's keep going.
Good morning, Board Game Breakfast. My name is Amanda Polk, and while I usually like to tell you about a game that I'm really looking forward to and what I'm going to play in the meantime to scratch this similar itch, today I'm talking to you about a game that I was looking forward to, and then I got to play it, wanted to let you know how it went. So this week, that game is Mythic Mischief. So I went wild with this one. I got the everything big headmaster pledge, I think. All the things in one box. This is a game that I was looking forward to for its sort of like chess-like strategy. And I said that I was going to play Santorini in the meantime. And I will say it delivered on chess-like strategy almost too much. I have really enjoyed playing it, but unlike Santorini, where it's sort of like a, I go, you go, back and forth, and we're sort of like, taking simple turns that can be part of a larger, more complicated strategy. There's just a lot more to think about in this game. And so whereas playing Santorini can be sort of like you're chatting while you're doing it, and it's a game you play while you're hanging out with somebody, I found this was a very like focused game, which doesn't make it a bad game. I still have enjoyed it a lot. And it's, like I said, it's certainly got like chess-like strategy, and you have to be thinking 3 steps ahead of yourself, much less the other person. But it is not the like social hangout. Like it comes across as like it's going to be this like fun, goofy game with all these like goofy characters, and it certainly has a lot of the characters and a lot of the theme. But you really get eaten up by like, okay, what's my strategy? I think people have talked about this being like it's an abstract game with a lot of like theme laid on top. I'm not going to weigh in on that debate, but what I will say is that it is a quiet game where you think a lot, and if you play this with someone with analysis paralysis, you might not be playing anything else that night. Hope you have a great breakfast. Talk to you later. Bye.
You've got the murderer in Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. You've got the spies in the Resistance. Now, get ready for your toughest challenge yet. Drinking the coffee.
What?
Coffee.
Oh, I get it, because it's coffee plus mafia. Oh, that's clever.
Coffee.
There is an elegant simplicity to this game that isn't apparent on the surface. There are only 3 classes, the mafia, agent, and junkie, and these don't have special powers that everyone needs their own rulebook to remember. It's simply mafia or not, survive or sabotage. The mafia wants to not drink sabotaged coffee, the agent wants to make them drink it, and the addict/junkie wants to drink it themselves. You'll choose 1 card every turn. Sugar, that does nothing. True serum that sabotages the coffee, or sleeping pills that can counter the true serum. However, it's the little things that make this game shine. Like the simple premise that more true serum than anything is out, but also if everyone plays the sleeping pill, it's also out. It means that you have to choose your cards carefully. Can you trust the others to play the sleeping pill? and just play some sugar, or do you need to take the risk yourself? The fact that unplayed cards are reshuffled every time and redealt means the investigator and junkie have multiple chances to win in a 3-round game. And because it's only 3 rounds, it means you can both internalize everything that's happened thus far, and also leaves each round feeling tense, forcing players to interact, accuse, and deceive, the things you want in a Mafia game. In Japan, these games are called Jinro game, and you can't go into a board game store without seeing at least one section dominated by variants of these kinds of games. And this game reminded me of why. They're cheap, easy to learn games that are a fun, accessible way for people of all experience levels to have a great time with their friends. Thanks for watching. じゃあね.
All right, this segment, we take a look at a shelf in the Dice Tower library and tell you which game is the best on that shelf. Here's the shelf.
There we go.
All right, everyone, welcome to Shelf 2B, which we're looking at. First, we have Forum Trajanum, a Feld game. Not one that gets talked about pretty much at all, but hey, it's Feld. Neom, a city building game, which got a lot of buzz when it initially came out. I like it, building a futuristic city. I like everything about it except for some disaster tiles in it, but pretty good. Another game about building a city, New York 1901. This one's kind of a classic in a way. It's about building a city. Think of it as Foundations of Rome, but in a much, much smaller scale because the skyscrapers are smaller and also it's all cardboard tokens. Tiny Towns, this one did very well from AEG. A bingo-esque game, but very, very puzzly. And another one from AEG here, the Guild of Merchant Explorers. Despite its very, very, very boring name and boring look, it's a really good game, almost a roll and write. Ecos, First Continent, another bingo-esque game. In fact, these 3 games are similar, which is why they're all together. As you are building out a little continent and animals all over it. Millie Fury, this game got a lot of buzz earlier this year from Reiner Knizia. It's very, very abstract, but very beautiful and a lot of fun to play. Now we come to some of the games from the Dice Tower Essentials line. Royals, which if you've never played, think of Royals as a set collection game, but on the level of Ticket to Ride. It's really good, easy to play. You're just collecting cards and scoring points in many different ways. Aquatica, a beautiful game about going down in the deep seas and the kingdoms down there. Card play, just really looks cool and has some unique feel to it. Smartphone Inc., which kind of a lot of people were put off by the theme of it. I don't get it. Since we use smartphones all the time. But I like the theme of this, but it's really well done. It has a sequel to it, a card game version of it in a sense, but I like the board game a lot. And this is one of the few games that really works well with 5 players. Viral, about you are a virus in someone's body, and you're trying to make them as sick as possible, which sounds pretty dark, but it's actually very light and silly, and you have a lot of fun. Area control game. All right, Inuit, the Snowfolk. This is a game that doesn't get a lot of buzz, but it's a really well done game. It's a card collection game. You're going through a big deck of cards and collecting cards, and you can up technology of sorts. It's hard to explain. Watch my review. It's pretty neat. Living Planet from Christopher Bollinger. I've actually not played this one, but I've heard many good things about it. And so I put it next to Mission Red Planet, which is a fantastic game. I like this one. This is the newer version of it from Fantasy Flight Games. Area control, card play, Katala Fidudi, just a great combo. And then Red Rising, which I put next to Red Planet because, I don't know. Anyway, Red Rising is one of these Stonemaier games, and I have a whole shelf of Stonemaier games. This one got relegated up here for whatever reason. This is a game based on another game, Fantasy Realms. Sorry, my mind slipped there. I don't think it's quite as good, but a lot of people do like it. Anyway, that's Shelf 2B.
I just noticed the Red Rising's not with the other Stonemaier games.
It fit better on that shelf. I don't remember if I put it next to Mission
Just
Red
'cause
Planet.
it was a square?
Red Rising. Yeah, I don't know why it's there.
I've played more on this shelf than I think any other shelf we've done so far.
Interesting, really.
Yeah.
Oh, there, right. Yeah,
I did miss the brass
That looks good
week.
right there.
Yeah, right? Covering.
This one, I mean, for me is...
I'm kidding, Mike.
The show keeps moving. There's no
Mine is
break.
Aquatica. I mean, to be fair, there's several Dice Tower Essential games, which are games I specifically picked.
Yeah.
I still think Royals gets a lack of love. I mean, part of it is the theme is not particularly engaging, but I like how simple and easy it is.
I don't think I haven't played that one.
And I do like the Merchants of the whatever. I still can't remember the name of that game.
Guilder Explorers.
Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Such a dumb name. But I like that game. And Mission Red Planet, of course, fantastic. But Aquatica is my pick.
I really like Aquatica, but I like it way better with the expansion. It's one of those that I feel like I need to play with the expansion. Otherwise, it ends too quickly.
Expansion's in there.
Well, yes. All is well then. New York 1901 is just a classic for us. We've played it a lot. Chris's stepdad's from New York. I'm probably stealing all of your talking points right now, but
go for it.
I love New York 1901. I really enjoy polyomino stuff. There's a little bit of area control with the streets, but you're building up buildings and you're demolishing buildings and building more. I like a lot what's going on there. I do like the Guild of Merchant Explorers as well. Those are probably my 3 that are my highest.
Wait, what was the highest?
I'm going to say New York 1901 just because I played it the most.
Good. I'm always make people pick one. All right, Chris.
Yeah, I have a hard time. I think it might be New York 1901. It's the first blue-orange game that was like a big game, like a family weight or not spot it, basically, from blue-orange. I really like it. They put them on the map for me as like a really, really good publishing house. It's a cool aesthetic. I think it's Vincent Dutrait artwork. So
for me, and I know you'll disagree on this, that game has been obliterated by Foundations of Rome.
And it's the complete opposite for me. Is the complete opposite. I played Foundations of Rome and I thought, I think I'd rather just play New York 1901.
Happily, I'm in the majority.
I'd rather pull out the box than New York 1901. I like them both.
You are $2 million correct there, I think I would say. No, I mean, Aquatica's great. Red Rising is my favorite solo game on that shelf.
How do you feel about Ecos, Chris?
I feel about Ecos actually very similar to the way that I feel about Millefiori.
There you go.
Throw them, burn them.
You don't like Ecos either.
I wasn't a big fan of Ecos either.
What about Mission Red Planet? Mission Red Planet's a great game.
I haven't tried Mission Red Planet. Wendy played it on a Ketchupalooza, a live stream, and then did a Ketchupalooza. I didn't get to play it. I would like to at some point.
It speaks not to me. I didn't love Red Rising. I just felt like there were too many extra rules. I would have rather just played. Was it Fantasy Realms and Marvel Remix?
Fantasy Realms is all the rage these days. I just showed Chris another game based on that.
Yeah, I tried it, and I chuckled quite a lot. I had fun with that one. But yeah, I'm going to call New York 1901 my favorite, but Aquatica, very close second.
Well, that's what's on the shelf.
Hey there everyone, it's Jen the Board Game Librarian, flipping some pages and pushing some cubes with my segment From the Page to the Table, where I pair books and board games together. We're going to take a look this week at one of my favorite books from 2021, and that is Facing the Mountain by Daniel James Brown. So this is a nonfiction title where it focuses on the 442nd Fighting Unit from World War II. They were an all-Japanese American fighting unit. These are American heroes, some of the most decorated soldiers in our history, and we talk about that. We talk about the racism they faced while they were in the army. We talk about the racism going on back home against Japanese Americans and the things that happened to them. So this book is a tough read, but I think it's a really important read. So highly recommend this book. This is also the guy that wrote Boys in the Boat. So if you like that book, you might like this. So I could have put many World War II games with this, but this is a great one, Paulo Mori's Blitzkrieg. 1 or 2 players, about 20 minutes playing time. So this wonderful tug of war that's going on between you and your competitor in terms of playing a war game, but in 20 minutes. It's so great, this game. I'm hoping it's in print still, because it's Paulo Mori, that's the joke, right? But, this kind of bag building game and bag selection game where these chips have different powers and you can do different things. I love this one. I think it's a great pick, especially if you like playing a lot of 2-player games, as we do at our house. So this is a great pick for you. That's all, friends. We'll see you next week. Happy breakfast.
Hello, Proti here, Romanian content creator, and today I will continue my series where I will talk about a specific part of a game, and today we will talk about an archdemon from Angel's Fury. In Angel's Fury, there are the two armies of good and evil, which are fighting against each other to over a soul of a person. And you can play 1 versus 1, 2 versus 1, or 2 versus 2 in teams. You are trying to control the different zones where you get different resources or soldiers, and control, of course, the zone where the soul of the person is you are fighting over. You are having dudes on the map, you are clashing against each other and rolling some dice to see who wins the fight. You are playing some cards during the game with different effects. You can buy some upgrades, buy different cards to have a better hand, a better tactical, let's say, situation during the battles, during the area control. And I wanted to talk about Archdemon. You have different Archdemons in the game that you will choose at the beginning of the game, because this is the center part, the leader of the army. And at, let's say, on the bad side, you have here one of the Archdemon is Moloch, which is giving you an income of 1 soldier, and he heals 1 when it's the income phase, so to say. And you start with 1 resource, which is used for upgrades and cards, and with 1 soldier in your supply, not the ones on the map. And you have and some changes to the main starting deck. And you have the ability to destroy one of your demons, like the small soldiers, to get either 2 resources or heal by 2. And I find this really interesting, because if you can get the possession of different areas which are giving you soldiers, you can push on this, get big armies on the board, and use those soldiers to get resources for buying cards and upgrades, and heal your main character, let's say, in the game. So this is an interesting Archdemon. This is I wanted to talk about in Angel's Fury. Have a nice breakfast.
Today we're taking a look at Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever.
Hopefully not forever.
Yeah,
Forever.
we'll be back to that in a second.
Hallelujah.
So Black Panther was a movie I didn't know a lot about. I read about Black Panther, but he was kind of a guy who showed up in the Avengers and then disappeared and didn't show up again because he's busy taking care of Wakanda. But he was a cool character and really played an important part in the Civil War storyline. Anyway, the movie was great. Black Panther was a fantastic movie, has one of my favorite villains from the Marvel Universe. I liked it a lot. And I also liked the fact that Black Panther movie set up the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, because Wakanda was a pretty big part of those.
It was very important.
And I enjoyed all that. It was great. I didn't know what to think going into this one because, of course, with the sad news that the star of the first one passed away in between, and, you know, how are you going to handle that? And they handled it as best as they could handle it, I think. They had him die off screen before the movie started. It's not a spoiler, because the movie starts, he like dies in the first 10 seconds of the movie or what have you. Is it right?
That's if we're gonna...
That's not a spoiler. He's not on the poster there. I mean,
mild spoiler.
But I'll tell you what. So I think this movie, a good chunk of this movie, at the beginning and at the end, are about the actor, I think.
Yeah.
And giving him a sort of send off, and I think they did it well.
It was
very respectful.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It's far from classless. It's very respectful.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't mind, and there's a big thing, the movie is still called Black Panther. Well, who is Black Panther? The movie explains that. I'm not going to try to spoil that for you. I was not surprised.
I thought that was really obvious going into it, and I haven't even watched a movie trailer. Like, I watched nothing, I read nothing, I didn't look at anything, and I was like, well, okay, well, when is that person? You know, and it eventually happens.
Yeah,
I was like,
I don't even know that it's supposed to be that big of a surprise. The biggest things in this movie is it introduces a few new characters, or reintroduces an old character from the first Black Panther movie who becomes a character that will get their own series. I'm confused as to how all this is working out.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
His girlfriend,
the spy girl.
Yes,
Spy
and
girl.
now
Okay.
she is Armor, or well, I don't know. She's one of the new characters.
Sure, yeah, she's going to become... Yeah.
She's going to have her own series.
Yeah, anyway.
Okay.
Everyone's getting a Disney Plus spinoff these days.
Yeah, and then they introduce a new teenage character in this. I think she was a teenager, college college, and I thought she was very well done. And I thought the acting was really well done. I did make fun of slightly in the theater by accident of Namor, and
you laughed out loud.
The whole theater was really quiet. That did not help. And I laughed because the wings on his feet just are so stupid. That's like a comic book thing from the 50s. Captain America used to have wings on his helmet, too.
Absolutely.
And they were like, no, that looks dumb now.
We could have let that go and I would have been
they,
fine.
They flattened him on his, well, I mean, Captain America wore the doofy costume when he was out there selling war bonds.
Yeah.
Right, when he was an actor.
They get rid of, like, the doofy, like, even WandaVision, they wore him for Halloween. And they were like, ha, ha, ha. These are not really their outfits. I'm okay with that. The fact that Namor had the wings on his feet, I just thought was really stupid. I probably could have been more quiet about it, but I didn't. I thought everyone would laugh.
You pointed at the screen and cackled, basically.
Chris and Tom both have very loud laughs. They're great to go to theaters with.
It wasn't. Yeah, but normally when I laugh, other people are laughing with me.
Oh,
Anyhow.
yeah. No, I'm often the person in the theater laughing at something that you're not really supposed to laugh at, but whatever. Pish posh, I'll enjoy my movies the way I want to enjoy them.
Namor is the antagonist of this movie of sorts. He's not the villain. The villain is, I don't know, the United Nations. Something like that. Anyhow, I felt like the plot of this movie of setting up the conflict was sloppy. I thought it was really sloppy. It's basically me and Chris having a big argument, and Chris is threatening to come beat me up. And then me and Mike like lives next to me. I'm like, Mike, if you don't help me fight against Chris, first I'm going to come beat up you. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
But that is the plot of this movie.
Yeah.
That was a really ridiculous plot. It was just a setup. It is, in the comic books, it's a much more, the Atlanteans and the Wakandians have had, like, beef for a long time. And so they fight each other. There's none of this whole, it made no sense. I thought that was a really stupid part of the movie, that part.
Okay.
You guys liked it better? I just thought it was, the idea of them fighting.
It felt very immature and didn't feel like discussions were happening. It felt more like, hey, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, join me or die. I don't know. But I don't want to. I don't know. I struggle with spoilers, so I'm like, what do I say? What do I not say?
I guess the thing is that I enjoyed Namor as an antagonist. Is the thing is that he's like, the greater conflict is okay, right? But like he as a character was interesting to watch and interesting to learn about and everything. You could do worse with a Marvel villain, as proven by half of the Marvel movies.
Sure. I don't know. The Mayan thing, I didn't mind that they added that. That's just added. They didn't really explain his origins. I mean, they did explain his origins, but it didn't make sense why Namor was different than everyone else. I guess it's because he's a mutant, maybe. They'll explain that later. Yeah, okay.
I thought that they explained it just fine.
Yeah, but why is he the only one?
Because
they explained that there was something different about him.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know.
His beginnings.
Again, it just seemed a convenient way for him not to have to wear a mask the whole movie.
In utero.
Anyway. No.
Spoilers.
But there could have been anyway.
So I like that the strong females in this movie didn't have to run around and say, I'm a strong female because I'm a strong female. I think they were just strong females, and I appreciate that. They did good. They did well, and they didn't need to announce it.
The opening action scene sets that tone really well. The opening scene is different, but the opening, I guess the first like action sequence, it just shows that, you know, Wakanda is still strong, and kind of paying to that idea of you pay respect that Chadwick Boseman passed, and it was really unfortunate and heartbreaking for so many people, but also stuff does carry on, but in a meaningful way, not in a, okay, we can toss that to the side now. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The warriors, the people that make Wakanda strong, they're not limited to one single person. And that's kind of the premise of the movie. I think that's why I like this movie so very much, is because that kind of ran throughout the whole thing. And it establishes it right up front.
My favorite part of the movie was actually the middle of the movie. There's only a few action sequences in the movie. There's less than you would think. But in the middle of the movie, there's a car chase sequence, which reminded me of the car chase sequence in the first Black Panther, and I really liked it. I thought everyone involved in that was really well done. But my biggest problem with the movie, and I'm giving this movie a 6 out of 10, is that it was, in my opinion, an hour too long. It was so long. It just kept going on and on and on and on and on. And the final battle, felt like a letdown to me. There were some cool sequences in it. It felt stupid, parts of it.
Parts of it, sure.
It's hard to explain without... I understand what they were going for. There was a very specific thing they were trying to do in the final battle, which worked for once. Usually the plans don't work.
Yeah.
But there was just some really dumb sequences, and I don't know. I thought it was fine. I liked a lot of it. I liked the new characters they added for the most part. I thought they did it, like I said, I thought it was respectful. I just was sitting there for a while going, come on. It could have used some more action, I thought.
Interesting. I just don't feel that way, but I feel that way less in general. Like, I'm okay with movies that run a little long, movies that take time to get places. So I enjoyed the length. I would give it a 7 out of 10.
I'd probably give it a 7.5. I liked it a lot. I think the first Black Panther movie is maybe stronger, but this one definitely felt like, how do you keep this going? And I thought they did a good job with that. They did a really good job. And so
I want to be clear. I would give the first one a 9. Like, that's how much different I feel about the two of them.
Yeah.
It's really funny that...
The first one is because the villain is so strong in the first one.
Absolutely. It's funny, when we did our Marvel rankings, we did like a standalone video of like the MCU rankings. I remember my number ranking for Black Panther was a lot higher than everybody else's. That's
but you have to remember, I'm like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
Right,
yeah. There's a lot that you love.
Yeah, it's easy to look at, like, I think this is the 20th best movie, but you're looking at just a bunch of huge, successes.
So what does Eternals get? And how does this compare to that?
Eternals is like a 3, maybe a 2. I really, really dislike Eternals.
There's a second one coming out, right?
Oh, is
they
there?
have not announced it
I
yet
thought I saw
know
something
of.
for a second Eternals.
And in fact, I wouldn't mind if they don't show up in any of the other movies. Although I think there was a cameo of them in something recently. Oh, in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. 10. Okay, anyway. Maybe not a 10.
We haven't seen it yet.
Well, I'm not spoiling it. All right. That's our review. Let's keep moving.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I'm here to talk to you about High Society. Now, this is a little bidding game which I kind of put off playing for a long time, and I kind of regret that now because it does have something special to it. So the way the game works is everyone's got their own hand of money cards. You've got the exact same cards at the start of the game, and they go from like 1 all the way up to 25 with some of the denominations missing. So as the game goes on, you start to have to work out combinations of cards to get the numbers that you want. But once your cards are on the table, you can't take them back off to just up them a little bit. You'd have to hold on to that one. It doesn't sound like much, but it is a really interesting choice. Throw in the fact that some of the auctions you want to win for the points and some you want to not lose because they're negative effects. And then there's auctions with ×2 for your points. And there's a lot going on around the table. If you're trying to work out, I think they've used like their 25 card, so they're not going to be able to go big on this ×2. But they haven't spent much money. Because there's a twist. At the end of the game, whoever's got the most points wins, but whoever has the least money is eliminated before you count points. So, if you go too hard, you go home as well without the win. And yeah, High Society, it's such a simple game, but wow, it's really, really good fun. Anyway, that's High Society, and until next time, have a great breakfast.
Hey, I'm Jordan, and I love Blue Orange games. I think they're really well produced, kind of quirky sometimes. They have really cool production values, great for families, great for kids. And recently I got a hold of 2 food-based card games that have some real-time and pattern making, and they're different games. They feel very different, but they sound very similar. And so we got Burger ASAP, and we got Pear Shaped. Now, Pear Shaped comes in an actual pear, and the cards are pear-shaped, as you would imagine. Use this as the timer, kind of wobbles back and forth on the table. Whenever it stops, that's the end of that round. You're gonna have these hands of cards that have different colors, number of symbols on them, and then types of symbols. And if somebody plays a purple card with a single bowling pin on it, I can then play a card on top of it that's either purple, bowling pin, or has a 1 on it. You're doing this in real time, trying to get rid of all of your cards. Very light, very breezy. The thing that holds this one back for me is it has some really kind of silly party kind of things where you have to stand up and like wobble like a pear, or you're supposed to yell something and grab the pear at certain times. If it didn't have those kind of things, I think I would enjoy the game a lot better. We often just don't play with those kind of stuff. My kids really enjoy it. If they're into speed kind of stuff, I would definitely check this one out. And it also comes with a fun pear that looks like a toy, and it'll be a mess in your house because they will forget that it's a game. Then also we have Burger ASAP, and Burger ASAP is, I really enjoy this one. This is a pattern building burger game. You're going to put a card out and it's going to show you a burger order, and then you have to use your set of cards to put out, and you half cover them. They're also double-sided, and so each pattern of the burgers is going to perfectly match the cards that you have in front of you. So this one works super well. It's not quite as silly as the pair game, but both of these are cool. If you have kids, if you're families, check out either of these. I don't think you'll go wrong, but I think this one's a bit better. So there we go. I'm Jordan. Thanks.
All right, folks. Well, that is it for another episode of Board Game Breakfast. In 14 minutes, Z will be here doing a What's Happening, and then I'll be back at noon with a Q&A. Lots of live stuff today. We're back. We're doing live stuff. We'll see some of you at PAX. Don't forget, of course, Dice Tower Cruise is done. You might be able to get a ticket, but I think it's closed. But Dice Tower East and Dice Tower West, come on out. It's time to start planning vacations for next year. Alrighty. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
Have fun gaming.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.